YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back into Moser. Let me adjust my mic because I feel like my mic is a little too loud. I don't want to be screaming at y'all all day. What's happening? Welcome back into Mo's Knows. We are on our mock draft series, our full mock draft series for all 32 teams in the NFL. We are on episode 15. We are headed to Lambeau. Now, my current attire isn't suitable for Lambeau. I know it get cold up there, but right now I'm in Jersey. The weather is beautiful outside. We hit 75 degrees today, so I got the cannons out today. I'm nice and cool here in the studio, but we headed to Lambeau. We're going to be making selections in the 2023 NFL Draft for the Green Bay Packers. We have 10 picks in this draft. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. Let's select the Green Bay Packers. We won all 7 rounds. Turbo is a little too fast. And then all of the other settings are default. So let's enter and let's start. Now, the Packers do have a lot of needs. Obviously, you know, the biggest need that we're going to see is at the quarterback position. They feel like they have the answer in Jordan Love. But there are a lot of people, Packers fans included, who are on the fence about that. Moving on from the many years of having Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback to going to Jordan Love. I mean, you draft him in the first round. You want to eventually see some fruits of that. But that's going to be a big change. Some other key departures. No more Randall Cobb. No more Allen Lazard. No more Mercedes Lewis. Robert Tonyan is going. He goes to the Bears. Dean Lowry. Jerron Reed. Adrian Amos at safety. Kicker Mason Crosby. It's a lot of guys who are here. And then the signings were very minimal. Re-signed Justin Hollins. Re-signed Rudy Ford. Signed a long snapper and then re-signed Keyshawn Nixon. So with 10 draft picks, the Packers could be looking to retool. Are we in a full rebuild? Maybe not yet. We still have some really good pieces on this team. You look at Aaron Jones, a Kenny Clark, Devondre Campbell, Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander. We got some pieces here. But let's take a look. So our needs are many. Quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line, and safety. If we take a look up here at our draft board, Will Levis was going at 8 to the Falcons. Anthony Richardson at 7 to the Raiders. And then, of course, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, 1 and 2. So all the quarterbacks at this point are gone. So needs, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, D-line. Looking at the best available, well, we got a wide receiver right here in Quentin Johnston. I think he can replace the size of Allen Lazard, but he has a little bit more speed than Lazard does. And you put him opposite Christian Watson. Now you got a good wide receiver duo for your young quarterback. Defensive line is Kalijah Kancey here. I think he's more of a traditional 3 technique and won't fit this 3-4 defense. They have Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt. Kenny Clark usually is in the middle. Right now they have him listed at left defensive end. So maybe we're looking for a new defensive end, or maybe we're looking to keep Kenny Clark on the outside and get a new nose tackle. But I don't think Kalijah Kancey fits what they want to do defensively. Safety is a need. You can look at Brian Branch. Yes, they did sign to Tavarius Moore from my San Francisco 49ers. But if you're talking about replacing Adrian Amos at safety, you could do that with a really solid safety, the best safety in the class, one of the most cerebral football players you're going to find in this draft, in Brian Branch from Alabama. I think he would fit perfect in that defensive backfield with Jair Alexander, Darnell Savage, and Eric Stokes, and Rasul Douglas. That could be an option there. Tight end. We want to replace Tanya, right? So Dalton Kincaid is here. I wouldn't take Dalton Kincaid at 15. I have Dalton Kincaid out of the first round, and it's merely for the injury issue, the injury to his back. Those back injuries linger, man. They hang around for a little bit and cause issues down the line. If I were going to go tight end, I would look at more of a Michael Mayer type. Wide receiver, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, Josh Downs. So those guys are here. If we look at tight end, there's Meyer, Musgrave, Laporta, Washington, Kuntz, Schoonmaker. Safeties, there are some guys that I like, but there's a steep drop-off after Brian Branch. Antonio Johnson is a solid safety. Sidney Brown, I love him, but he's going to go more toward the end of the second, early third. Same with Jamie Robinson. Jordan Battle is one of my favorite safeties in the class. Ronnie Hickman is a good option. Jair Brown, but these guys are going to go later. For me, the defensive class is a deep class, right? So there could be other wide receivers that you can get, but I feel like the wide receivers are going to go early, especially some of these top guys. Flowers, Addison, they're going to go in the first round. Downs could sneak into the first round, but he'll probably be early second. Ooh. It's either I go Quentin Johnson and at wide receiver and Antonio Johnson at safety, Quentin Johnston with a T at wide receiver, and Antonio Johnson at safety, or I'll go Brian Branch right now and maybe get Josh Downs. Because if we feel like Christian Watson is our number one, then we need a complementary wide receiver. Maybe not somebody with the same skill set and have two of the same guys. I feel like Downs is more of a route running technician, work the middle of the field, work the underneath stuff. Christian Watson is your 6'3", 6'4" speed guy, stretch the field. It's difficult. So many options that they can go. I think you still want to be able to move the ball offensively, but I think with the way this defense is constructed, if they can stop teams more efficiently, that can only help them on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go Brian Branch. I'm going to go Brian Branch at 15. I think that's a great landing spot for him. Is Downs going? Oh, here Downs is going because Hyatt is going. Downs went first. Oh, man. Come on. And did I see Antonio leave the board too? No, Antonio's still here. So I could have went wide receiver and then got Antonio at 45. But again, I think as far as skill set, I think Brian Branch is a step ahead. So if we can't get the wide receiver, we can look at tight end. And I think now that Kincaid is off the board, which he is, somebody else took a chance on him. That's absolutely fine. And then Michael Mayer. See, Michael Mayer went first. Mayer went before Kincaid did. And I think that's really how it's going to go. But now that option is off the board, now I think we can go get our tight end for our young quarterback to help him in that short to intermediate game, up the seams, that security blanket. So I think at 45, we can go tight end Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State to replace Robert Tonyan. So now we still get an offensive player. It's not a wide receiver, but it's still an offensive player nonetheless. Ooh. Ugh. A lot of good options that I see here. First is Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. He's going to fit this 3-4 defense because he's 6'3", 300. They have him listed as a 6'4", 300. They have him listed as a 3 technique. He has inside-outside versatility. So if you're playing Kenny Clark more on the inside, just because his natural skill set. Kenny Clark is a beast on the inside. Then you can throw Carl Brooks opposite Devontae Wyatt and have those three big boys go eat. You got Devondre Campbell, you got Rashawn Gary, but you still need some additional pass rush outside of those guys. I love Nick Herbig here, edge out of Wisconsin. Rushing behind, not Devondre Campbell, I'm sorry, Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. Him coming in to spell those guys here at 78, I think would be a great pick. We can take a look at receiver and see who's here. Michael Wilson from Stanford. Kayshon Boutte is here. Marvin Mims from Oklahoma. There's some guys that we can get later. I like Boutte a lot. Maybe he's still around at 116. If not, we can look at a guy like Jaden Reed. We can look at a guy like Trey Palmer from Nebraska. So there are some options. I do want to build that defensive line because I want that front to stay fresh. Because we need them in stopping the run. We need them filling up the gaps, taking up multiple blockers to allow our edges to come off clean and get to the quarterback, to give our secondary some time to cover. So I'm going to add Carl Brooks to this team at 78. Yeah. I'm going to add Brooks to this team at 78. Okay, back on the clock at 116. Again, if we wanted that wide receiver, Jaden Reed is here. Running back, I think we're good. We've got Aaron Jones. We got A.J. Dillon. Any running back we bring in would be for camp purposes. Keandre Coburn probably would have been nice at 149. Let's go wide receiver. So we got Parker Washington from Penn State. 5'10", 204. Complimentary number 2 or number 3. And then we got Jaden Reed from Michigan State. 5'11", 187. Similar guys. Decent route runners, both of them. Actually going to go Parker Washington from Penn State. We got Watson. We got Romeo Doubs. We got Bo Melton. But I think Washington can come in and vie for that number 3 job, that slot job. Maybe even battle with Romeo Doubs and see if he can get that number 2. But again, it says he's a complimentary number 2 or number 3 wide receiver. So I think he comes in and just adds depth to that room. So now we're at a spot where we got a bunch of edge rushers. Again, if we wanted to continue to beef up that defensive line, which as of right now, we only have 5 guys on the roster. Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, TJ Slayton, Jonathan Ford, and Chris Slayton. You go get Carl Brooks for the edge. And then you get somebody like Keandre Coburn to be that nose tackle to back up Kenny Clark. Force up the middle. I think this is a good place to take him here in the 5th round. And now you add 2 solid pieces to your defensive line. Again, you especially in the 3-4 that usually has those bigger defensive linemen, those guys that are, upwards of 300 pounds, the 305s, the 315s, the 320s, the 330s. You want to keep those guys fresh. You want to have a nice solid rotation. again, keep those guys fresh. Allow them to be able to clog up those holes on run plays, take on multiple blockers to allow those edge rusher guys to get home. So I think it's a good option here to take multiple defensive linemen, especially when you only have 5 on the roster. You may look to add some in free agency after the draft, some undrafted free agents, guys like that, any veterans who may still be looking for a team. But I think if you can add an additional guy especially with 10 draft picks, I don't think you can go wrong. Okay, on the clock here at 170. I think we do need to take a look at tackle. Maybe we could have taken a look at that earlier, but offensive line is pretty solid. From center, left guard, left tackle, no issues there. John Runyon at right guard, young but improving. Right tackle is definitely a spot that we need to take a look at. Luke Haggard from Indiana, a good option. I'm really a big fan of Asim Richards in these later rounds, so maybe if I can snag him at 232, that'd be a really, really good option. John Ojukwu from Boise State, Earl Bostic Jr., all still available. So those are options later. Let's take a look. Aiden O'Connell is still on the board. After eventually moving on from Aaron Rodgers, we'll only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster. So do we want to bring in a guy to come in and compete? 6'3", 213, 24 and some change. What other quarterbacks are here? Stetson Bennett, Clayton Tune, Malik Cunningham. Okay. Just taking a look at some of these edge guys. Viliami Fihoko. More of a hand in the dirt kind of guy. I don't know if you could stand him up. I have to look at his tape. I don't know if he has the same athleticism as like a Rashawn Gary. They're kind of similar build. Rashawn 6'5", 277. Fihoko is 6'4", 276. It's not giving me any of his information, so I wonder if you can stand him up. Yaya Diaby, 6'3", 263. He might be a better candidate to stand up and rush from the outside. Here at 170. Either one of those guys could be a good option. But this team likes the bigger rushers. Obviously, Rashawn Gary, 6'5", 277. Preston Smith, 6'5", 265. So I feel like they'll work with him and see what they're able to do with getting him to stand up to rush off this edge. They like the bigger guys off the edge rushing. So for a size preference and what this team likes to do, I'm going to go Viliami Fihoko from San Jose State at 170. Four picks left, 232, 235, 242, and 256. 232, I think it's a proper time. We can snatch that quarterback now, Aiden O'Connell at 232. Bring him into the mix at 2 picks later, 235. Again, they like the bigger linebackers too. 6'3", 232 for Campbell. 6'4", 241 for Walker. 6'1", 227. Okay. 5'11", 227. That might be too small. 6'4", 222. Again, height, but not the build they're looking for. But they could definitely work on that. Corner, also another position to look at. Obviously, there isn't a need with Alexander, Stokes, and Russell Douglas. But just to have the depth, that's definitely an option that you can take a look at. At one of these spots, we can get our tackle. Let's see who's still here for us. There's Richard, Goriage from Florida. TJ Bash from Oregon. My guy John Ojukwu is still here. Maybe we're looking at taking him or Earl Bostic at 242. What other linebackers are available? Banks is on the smaller side too. He has 6'1", 232, but he's athletic as hell. He's uber athletic. Someone that can float around at that linebacker position. He give them a greater option to cover more tight ends and backs with his speed and versatility. I'm gonna go Jeremy Banks. It's a name I really like at the linebacker position. Now let's get our tackle. Take a look at the measurables. 6'5", 306, Richard Jr. And we got my guy Ojukwu, of course, 6'6", 309. They got him listed as what's that? Oh no, class is G. I don't know what that means. A graduate, a grad transfer, possibly, and then redshirt senior. All these guys are around the same, 6 foot, under 310. We can go best player available at this point, which is Richard Garage from Florida. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. So I got to work on getting that pronunciation down. Make sure we say his name properly. We got everything we really need. Do we want to go another tight end? Josh DeGore, Tyler Davis, Austin Allen, Nick Gagunas. I mean, listen, we can go Will Mallory, have another tight end. Now we got Luke Musgrave, Will Mallory, and maybe we bring Joshua DeGore in or Tyler Davis. But I think the tight end position is wide open. Now, would you really draft 2 tight ends? Maybe not. But again, as we mentioned, this team pretty much has everything else taken care of. Maybe you want to look at another wide receiver. Yeah, you only have 5, drafted 1. Who do we have? We already got a Penn State guy. We could double up on Penn State. Trey Tucker from Cincinnati is a name to look out for in the later rounds as well. Jalen Brooks from South Carolina. Grant DuBose from Charlotte. I actually heard a lot of good things about Grant DuBose. I gotta do my due diligence and research on him. His rank is 331, but average draft position is 99. Jacob Copeland from Maryland, 5'11", 201 junior. And then Grant DuBose, 6'2", 201 junior. Let's go DuBose. Get another wide receiver. Let's go DuBose. Let's see how we did. Okay, we got an A for this draft class. Ooh, first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all A's. They didn't like the Banks pick. They didn't like the tackle pick. And Grant DuBose got a B. But let's recap. Round 1, pick 15, we got safety Brian Branch from Alabama. Got an A- for that. Round 2, we get tight end Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. Got an A for that. Round 3, pick 78, we take edge rusher Carl Brooks from Bowling Green, A-. Round 4, 116, we take wide receiver Parker Washington from Penn State. Round 5, pick 149, we get defensive nose tackle Keandre Coburn from Texas. Round 5, 170, we get Viliami Fehoko, edge rusher from San Jose State. We're going to stand him up and have him be our backup to Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. Round 7, pick 232, we take quarterback Aiden O'Connell from Purdue. 3 picks later at 235, we take linebacker Jeremy Banks from Tennessee. 7 picks later at 242, we take tackle Richard Garage. I gotta figure out how to pronounce that. From Florida. And then round 7, 256, we take wide receiver Grant DuBose from Charlotte. Let me know how I did. Packers fans, tap in with me in the comment section. Let me know what you liked about this draft. Let me know what you didn't like about this draft. Let me know what you would do differently. I love interacting with you guys in the comment section. If this is your first time here at Mo's Knows, welcome into the channel. So glad to have you. Do me a few things before you head on out. 1, smash the thumbs up on this video. If there was anything you liked about it at all, smash that thumbs up for me. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to Mo's Knows and you like this type of content, mock draft season, we're doing mock drafts for all 32 teams. I've got my full first round mock 3.0 coming out very soon. And tonight we will be doing a live team mock draft with a Washington Commanders content creator, my brother Rio Robinson from the Rambling with Rio podcast. We're going to do that live on YouTube. I'm going to have him on. We're going to discuss the state of the Commanders. And then we're going to go through a mock draft with his input about where he thinks his team should go in the 2023 NFL draft. If that's the kind of content that you like, consider becoming a subscriber here at Mo's Knows. Smash that subscribe button and then take another 2 seconds so that you get notified every time new content drops right here at Mo's Knows. Listen, I love and appreciate you for your time and attention, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. I may even see some of you guys tonight on the live show. All right, peace.